Okay, so I'm going to do the parahills. I'll talk about parahills now. So hopefully I just get all this done, and then I want to start talking about the tactics and how I have moved through them, which is intense, really intense. These people are basically throwing everything at me. So yeah, I want to get to all of that research that I've done, but this I need to purge first and get this out there because of the destruction that it's already done to a lot of people. A lot of people have been manipulated and lied to, and this isn't just like, you know, I sideswiped your car and lied about it. This is incredibly serious. People have been silenced. Kids have been harmed. So this is not a game. Alright, Parahills. I was living there, pretty happy there actually. It was a nice, you know, nice place considering what I have to work with. I had a bit of a garden where, you know, me and Jet could, you know, play with bubbles and throw the ball. He had his sandpit, all that kind of stuff, you know. There was space for that. Pretty nice neighborhood. And yeah, the day Paul was removed, we had an altercation, which used to happen sometimes when Jet wasn't there, thankfully. Obviously, because we were both hanging out together and talking, and then something would go down. So we had an argument, and things got physical. And on a few occasions when that happened, he would take my keys so that I couldn't lock him out, or at one point he actually took the SIM out of my phone so I couldn't call anybody. So I've gone to grab my phone and obviously it's just blank. So yeah, note to self, remember people's phone numbers. I ended up driving to the phone box and there was one number I remembered, so he was removed by police. 2 officers came, great guys, really top guys. I cannot say enough. They actually stayed with me for like half an hour or so after, while he was kind of driving up and down the street and creating a ruckus. And one of the officers was a darker skinned gentleman. Like I said, they were both really amazing guys, and I cannot sing their praises enough. Like, they supported me. And of course, he's like yelling out racial slurs. And this gentleman went to his car and looked up his rap sheet and come back to me and said, look, please don't let him back in your life. From what I can gather, he doesn't treat women very nicely. And that's all I'm going to say, but don't let him back. This person now I cannot find anywhere, and it doesn't exist, basically. Paul Astrauskas is his name. An identification of him is basically one side of his chest. He has a birth defect where one side of his chest is kind of pushed in. Smaller, I want to say, like kind of a man-child kind of look, I guess. My height, but yeah, not a huge gym kind of guy. Like, it's just really, really hard. Okay, I'm gearing off again. And things have just gotten pretty heavy. I've shot a couple of videos already, and now it's starting to affect my throat and stuff. So that was all well and good. He left, or he didn't actually leave. He left for then, like for that moment, and moved in the street, the same street after this. Could hear him, running around the neighborhood and stuff like that. And there was a girl involved. I'm not even going to call her that. It's a pig. Like, trash. Absolute trash. This is the person who called out the hit on me, Jet's mum, and has connections through her father. I don't know who that is. That's what I've heard. So I heard her, organising this. I have certain intuitive abilities. I don't know if I've gone into that before. I can pick up conversations by expanding my conscious field, I guess you would call it. And that works even better, I think, when people are focused on you, because they're giving you and they're creating kind of a doorway, So yeah, I heard her call out a hit on me via her father. I had to leave that house very quickly, and I was in total fear and trauma at this stage, certainly not the version of me now. So left really quickly. They allowed me to break my lease and get out once I told them that, there was trouble and I needed to leave. This person is some skank streetwalker. I don't know if it's from the neighbourhood or she moved into the neighbourhood, but this is a piece of trash, and there's much more to this when we get to Engel Farm, where these two positioned themselves in the house next door to us while these home invasions and targeting was happening. But I'm going to stick with Parry-Hills for now. So there was a night before I left, this is the reason I left, where they were on the roof inside the property with a firearm and just sick. Like, I just don't know. I don't have to go into the sick details of, the discussions they were having about me and what they were going to do. I'm pretty sure I've said before that, and I don't feel any kind of way about saying any of this. It is what it is. Anyone who does this kind of work, I'm not the only person on the planet who doesn't fear these people and is energetically throwing down. So I don't feel any kind of way about this at all. In fact, a release, to be honest, actually relieved and a release. There was a night where they were on the roof, and I spent the entire night. It was really, actually quite stressful. I mean, I'm not some sort of waif when it comes to these kind of things. Like, I have always stood up for myself. This situation obviously was highly traumatizing because it was involving my son and imminent, being taken out of my life. But, you know, I've always been someone who stands up for themselves and will throw down when necessary. So the second that I heard him on the roof and discussing this, there was 3 of them, her, him, and another male. I immediately shut all the lights off in the house and went really quiet, and they freaked out, and I remember spending the entire night with just a crack in the window kind of thing, or in the door, like with everything locked up, laying on the ground so that I could hear, you know, what was going on out there. I was clutching a knife at the time, so I could hear what was going on out there and not be run up on, I suppose. There was a moment, Jelly. There was a moment where Jelly kept getting up into the window, and I was trying to get her out of the window because she kept going up to the window and looking out, and they could see her. And of course, one of them said, "Oh, we should shoot the cat," and another one says, "Well, you'll break the glass. Like, don't do that." That night, or early hours of the morning, like I said, I didn't sleep all night. I sort of laid there listening, and once they got fed up, after I don't even know how long, 6 hours maybe, like a long time, they started kind of roaming the neighbourhood and stuff, and I did hear a gunshot in the distance, and a little bit of talk. I'm not sure what happened, but the discussion that I heard was that they shot somebody's animal, somebody's pet. So yeah, that could be total rubbish. Like I say, whenever I'm talking about I'm just going to collect myself. I'm just going to pause. Okay. After this, there was a space, like a short space before I moved out, where things amped up even further, and I heard him confessing what he'd done to my son, to a friend, like a street away or whatever. And this friend went mental and kicked him out of the car. And, yeah. That was when I found out what he'd done. I actually had no idea before that. After the event where they were on the roof, obviously having a child, I was concerned. Like, if Jet was home, what if Jet was home, you know, that night, and things went differently? So was his father. And I went to the police to ask them to see if they could, you know, have a word with him to stop stalking me. I never mentioned any of that kind of stuff. I just said, look, this person hasn't left. He was removed. He's still in the neighbourhood stalking me, running up and down the street. When I walked into the police station to do that, there were 2. The female officer greeted me first. There was a male officer sitting off to the side in like a booth kind of thing with speaking to an older man. I recognised this older man. Not so much at the time, or I did, but something I recollected. I'd seen him at my son's school with what I presume were his grandkids. Funnily enough, I even had a picture with him in the background at one point. It ended up deleted on my phone. I took a picture of Jet on the slide. He was, I don't know, maybe in year 1 or year 2 at this stage. And lo and behold, there was him in the background of this photograph looking at me. Now the photo's gone. My phone died and I lost that. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, stored in some sort of data bank. And that's when it clicked. That's when I recognised, when I saw that picture, that he was the one sitting there. The second I began talking to this female officer about this, he perked up. It sparked his interest immediately. I still don't know who this person is, but I know there's something there. So, not long after this, I have police arrive at my home, I guess, to ask some more questions. Now, okay, before that, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. There is one more thing before that. So, I've gone over and asked a couple of neighbours, did you see anything? Me and my son lived there the other night. Did you see anyone? Nobody saw anything, which is fair enough. That's all good. Not long after this, police visited my home. Now, this was not a normal visit. 3 officers arrive. Once again, giant, I remember them ducking through the doorways. And I remember sitting there next to this guy who had arms that were twice the size of my head. Yeah, I don't even think that's an exaggeration. So one is sitting on the couch talking to me. Another one, who I'm getting a weird kind of vibe from, walks into my kitchen and looks out the kitchen window. And out that window is a view of a couple of the neighbours' homes. One of which I did ask if they'd seen anything. And upon being a psychic, a remote viewer, I knew immediately this guy showed interest in that. And he sort of motioned to the other officer and said, let's go ask the neighbours if they've seen anything. I remember at one point maybe walking past the kitchen and just glancing out the window and seeing them standing at that doorstep. I'm mentioning this because I drove past this house after moving out, just to kind of, I don't even know, when you move out of a house and then later on you're going past and you're like, oh, I'll just go past the old house and see. The house had a for sale sign and no one was there, and this was not something that looked normal, in that it looked like they were deeply rooted in that house, you know what I mean? Like there was a family home, been there, very unusual to me, unusual. So that was that, and they did a follow-up call later on and asked me if I wanted to take it any further with him, and I felt a little bit intimidated, and I said no. At that point, when that follow-up call was made, I was at Ingle Farm with Jaz's father, staying with him. So it was all kind of unfolding and going down, and I just wanted to get off the phone and, you know, this female that was involved with this, I was introduced to her as Sarah, and she was, yeah, she was the one that was invited to my son's 4th birthday party when I was living in Lochinvar Street, Paradise. And one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen, like actual ever disgusting. The other time that I saw this piece of shit was driving by that house, pulling into the street, and they were out the front. Kind of didn't expect, you know, that to happen or to be rolling by, but it did, and immediately her face like went mental, and she sort of pointed like right up, you know, like I had no right to drive down the fucking street and head towards my home. Like I was picking up things to move out of there. And yeah, later hearing that they had to go up and check the CCTV footage because she said, look, you know, she's starting something here. And they've come back and said, no, she's not. She was as surprised as you. Like, it didn't stop. This feral is a parasite, an actual parasite. And I don't even know her full name. Never, all I know is what I've just said. So there might be many more pieces out there to this puzzle as to who that person is. But yeah, absolutely disgusting.